Okay? One. So SMART basically includes a couple of people. Your first person or your first set of people are 5 engineers. These are the guys who are going to be developing the software of SMART. On the other side, we have got a team of teachers. The entire teacher team in St. Willy Broad School of standard 1st to standard 10, English, maths and other main subject topics. These teachers will be part of Project SMART along with an auditor who is actually a subject matter expert who will relook at all the lesson plans that Project SMART is going to be looking at. SMART basically is a platform. Is a platform that's going to enable all the teachers at St. Willy Broad International School to get immediate data on what was taught and what was learned in the class. So the whole idea is once the teacher gets this data, she's able to go into the class the next day and she's going to rethink how to teach. So she's going to rethink, she's going to replan, or she's going to reteach. And she will do that only to students who need that help. In order to make that happen, we'll have to have 3 or 4 different modules. So let's say your first module is your lesson planner module. This is fundamentally used by the teacher. The next module is going to be your assessment or your student testing module. This is fundamentally used by the student. The data from this also goes back to the teacher and the school leadership team. The next module is going to be a reporting engine. The reporting engine is going to create all the analytics that the SLT as well as the class teacher can use to make sure that she is giving better lessons. You'll also have to support this with an app, which is like an Android app that students can log in from home and also take tests. So this is your implementation plan for Project SMART. This gives us a sequential list of what each major stakeholder is doing in this project. For example, one of the key stakeholders here is the teachers. We have a team of 45 teachers that will be looking at this project. Development team, those 5 engineers that we are talking about. SLT, which is a school leadership team, about 5 people. And this is your workload calculation and certain reports that we need to develop over the next 1 or 2 weeks. Let's look at the teachers. Everything that you see in blue is what we're doing in week 1. So in week 1, teachers are going to be entering lesson plans plus concepts out of the books of the textbook using the content page. After that, they're going to be entering the MCQs for each of those concepts. We're doing only 5 MCQs to ensure that it can be done fast and the quality of the MCQs is reasonably good. The development team, on the other hand, is developing the form for data capturing and the database. They're also making the form for teachers to use to fill in the MCQ questions. They're making the lesson plan format, the student dashboard, and the concept tagging form. So each of those concepts can be tagged to the Bloom's taxonomy. They'll also be working on the reporting engine. Having done that, in week 1, the SLT is identifying the concepts so that the teachers can enter it into the system. They're also checking and auditing the MCQs that the teachers are doing every day. So they will take the MCQ and they'll tag it to a Bloom's taxonomy so that we can get taxonomy level reports as the project moves on or after the implementation phase. And they're going to be designing the real report in terms of what information can be given to which stakeholder of the school. When we really look at workload for that week 1, we are seeing that about 1800 to 2000 concepts in a year in our school from 1st standard to 10th standard. If we are doing about 5 MCQs per concept, we're talking about 10,000 questions in all. That 10,000 questions are going to be done by about 45 teachers, and when we do the simple math, we realize that each teacher has to do about 200 MCQs. If we are looking at 5 minutes per question, this should take a little over 17 hours or about 2 weeks in the school. So this is extremely doable without really creating any extra pressure or stress onto the teacher. This should be backended with a daily progress dashboard so that we can actually see how much a teacher is doing, so that we can coach and support the teacher and help the teacher to move from first stage to the second stage. So once this form is ready, the software team also has to train the teachers on going to the form and using that form in the best possible manner. Also here, there will be certain training on how to make an MCQ question and how to add that into the form. In week 2, everything that you see in red is week 2. In week 2, the teachers, now having finished the lesson plan, certain teachers who have finished the MCQ questions can now move on to lesson plan. They will enter the lesson plan, they will attach each lesson plan to a concept and attach YouTube videos or other open educational resources to that lesson plan, including attaching the MCQ that they made earlier to the lesson plan and resources, and hit the submit button. So essentially the target here is to make those 2000 lesson plans for each of the concept. The software development team in that time is going to be refining the reports and the UI. They'll also be starting work on the Android application for students to start taking the tests and refining all the key dashboards or key metrics that is required once the data starts getting populated. The SLT team needs to review the MCQ questions that the teachers have started adding. They should start coaching and motivating the teachers to ensure that the deadlines are met, and we're going to upstage the teachers. We're going to move them from MCQ to lesson planning to start administering the test. And they need to start reviewing the lesson plans and badging or tagging or giving stars or some sort of rating to these lesson plans so that the teachers know that it is being checked and reviewed and a certain standard is maintained for all lesson plans. If you look at the workload, the teachers, we have 45 teachers on this project, about 2000 lesson plans. If we ask one teacher to spend 1 hour a day making a lesson plan, we're looking at 44 hours in total. That's about 44 days. So by the end of this year, 2014, we should be actually be able to have all our 2000 lesson plans on our platform. Before we start adding each of these things, we need to give the relevant training for the teachers how to fill up that lesson plan, and the lesson plan forms, etc., has to be adaptable so that the teachers can do it on their mobile phones or do it on tablets or do it on the internet. So pretty much by week 3 or week 4, some of the 44 teachers would have already finished doing the MCQs and doing the lesson plans. So instantly they can start administering the assessments. So by the 3rd week of November, after kids have come back from their Diwali vacations, in the second semester, the teachers can instantly start using their lesson plans and start giving children assessments that they can start administering to their classes. The minute they do that, they can start reviewing their lesson plans. Was my lesson plan good? Is there any reflection that I need to do? Do I need to reiterate my lesson plan? Start reiteration, start discussions. Why not look at the lesson plan that another teacher has created and see if there is something that I can do or I can add to or I can subtract. And she's going to start coaching kids to use the platform online and offline, in school, out of school, on their mobile or any other internet enabled devices that they have access to. She's also going to use the lesson plan class tracker. This is going to give data to the SLT team in terms of whether the teachers are using the lesson plan, following the lesson plan, how much time they are actually spending on all those unique components of the lesson plan. This will give us data to see how we can best support the teacher or intervene on an academic instructional method. In that time, the development team is creating a mail format of the dashboard of reports so that as the teachers start administering assessments on a daily basis, those emails are getting auto-generated and sent to the teacher saying, this is where your class is on concept, let's say multiplication. Create the email format for the lesson plan. The software also is intelligent enough to know what the teacher is going to teach tomorrow, and accordingly will send those lesson plans and those reference videos to the children, to the teachers, so that the teachers can actually spend 10 minutes going through that material. So she's absolutely planned for the next session that she's coming to school in. They're also going to test the Android app and place it on the Play Store so that children can download it and review and finalize the reports that students, teachers and parents and the SLT team is going to have access to kind of fine-tune our instructional processes to make sure that every child in this school is learning, achieving and growing. The SLT team at that time is going to be supporting teachers, reviewing the reports that is getting generated, looking at the data that is coming through the system, training teachers on differentiation. What do they do with that data? How do they work with different groups within the classroom? And how do they make sure that their lesson plan can now help in getting those other, getting children the relevant help that they need? So in essence, we're creating an equitable classroom environment where we're able to give to each child what they uniquely deserve. That, in a true sense, is going to be personalizing education. If you look at the teams here, we have a team we have Peterson from the software team who's going to be there on all these areas. That's because he can make sure that on the HR side of things, on the technology side of things, on the process side of things, the entire flow is maintained and we're able to achieve all these things in 44 days. For a budget private school like us, to achieve a project like this in 45 days is an extremely ambitious goal. I think it's so important for us as educators to be able to set up audacious goals and set up high expectations from everybody, so that once we set that up, then I'm sure that each and every person finds the strength to achieve that or even surmount that level and to go above and beyond the level that we've set for every single one of us. So this is called Project Smart from St. Louis Girls School.